let's get right into this review for Captain America: Brave New World. Alright, so this is the first official Captain America film from the MCU with Anthony Mackie taking the lead. And to start off, I thought the cast did a solid job overall. Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford were definitely the standout amongst the roster of characters for the narrative here. Many of the other actors fit into their side roles well enough, but I didn't think their characters were exceptional by any means, and I found them to be pretty forgettable amongst the rich roster of characters already explored in previous MCU films. As a matter of fact, many of the new faces you get to see in this film, who I won't bring up for spoilers' sake, felt like junior versions of past characters, which made them feel pretty bland to begin with. Anyways, to get right into the main question, what did I think about the story for this film? It's okay. This is a passable cinematic experience that barely manages to stay afloat. I found the story to be at its best during the setup in Acts 1, but this started to fall off a steep slope for me throughout Acts 2 and 3. There was some pretty cool CGI and fight choreography with Captain America at the helm, sprinkled all throughout the acts, but the B-tier story that sometimes even dipped into the C-tier level is what holds this entire narrative package back completely. And before dwelling deeper into the cons, let's start by talking about the positives. Again, I thought the acting we see here was good enough for the roles they were given to fulfill. I also found the CGI to hold up pretty well for most scenarios. There was a few selective shots in the film where you can tell a green screen was behind the actors, but none of that was enough to ruin the overall immersion for me in my screening. I found the Red Hulk transformation and many of the fight sequences to be fun to witness. It's nothing new and they are pretty generic fights, but it was still cool nonetheless. And thankfully, the runtime wasn't any longer than 1 hour and 58 minutes, because it definitely would have dragged on for the worse if this story had more stuffing to it. The main reason being that the core foundation of this screenplay just wasn't that good to begin with. So let's dive into the negatives now. To start off, the main antagonist here is just outright terrible. For someone who's supposedly so smart, the guy takes some very dumb risks to carry out his master plan. There's also a ton of plot holes in this B-tier story that are left either bare bones or completely unanswered by the end. Captain America noticeably has incredible plot armor for the beating he receives, especially as someone who didn't take the super soldier serum injection like Steve Rogers. Lots of unmemorable side characters that don't really add a whole lot to the story, and the story itself felt simply too generic to be able to leave a lasting impression on me past this one and done viewing of the film. My final score for Captain America: Brave New World ends up being a 6 out of 10. It's okay. Among the roster of MCU films, I definitely put this next to Ant-Man: Quantumania in terms of the overall cinematic package you get. Not the worst film I'll probably be seeing this year, but not a memorable one either. It's solid enough to be a one-time watch for me, but you definitely shouldn't set the bar too high, as you'll be in for a disappointing experience. Thanks for checking this review out. I'll have more coming soon next week, so stay tuned. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next upload. But until then, stay safe and peace.